Dubai in shock. The older woman, everyone, tried to hide. Dubai glittered that night. The towers gleamed like polished mirrors, and the desert wind carried whispers of something forbidden. The royal gala was supposed to be a night of perfection, of beauty, elegance, and control. But fate has a strange way of unraveling secrets, especially the ones hidden behind royal smiles. It began when Sheikh Hamdan, Dubai's beloved crown prince, entered the ballroom. All cameras turned to him, the prince of poetry, the horseman of hearts. Yet his eyes weren't on the chandeliers, the leaders, or the cameras. They were searching for her. She stood in the far corner of the grand hall, half hidden behind golden drapes. The woman everyone whispered about, but no one dared to name. She wasn't a royal, nor a young model the city was used to seeing beside him. She was older, with grace that didn't need youth to shine. Her presence silenced the noise as though time itself paused to remember her. Her name was Amara. Once a scholar of Arabic art, she had been invited years ago to curate the royal archives. What no one expected was that she'd capture the heart of the crown, Prince himself, not with beauty alone, but with wisdom, poetry, and an untamed soul. The first time Hamdan met her, she was explaining an ancient Emirati poem to his father, the late Sheikh Rashid. "Some hearts," she had said softly, "are too noble to love in secret, yet too sacred to love in public." Those words struck him like lightning. Since that day, his heart had carried her voice like an eternal echo. But love in royal circles is never simple. The palace advisors warned him. "She's too old," they said. "Too experienced, too free. The people will never accept her." And so, the story of their love was buried, hidden behind headlines, behind silence, behind duty. Tonight, however, that silence was about to shatter. As Amara stepped into the golden light, a collective gasp spread across the hall. She was wearing a white gown embroidered with verses, words Hamdan himself had written for her in secret years ago. No one expected her to come. She had vanished from Dubai after the scandal, the rumors, the betrayal, the tears. Yet here she was, graceful, unafraid, like a ghost returning for unfinished truth. Hamdan froze when he saw her. For a moment, the prince forgot his crown, his guards, his titles. The hall faded into a blur of stunned faces. "Amara," he whispered under his breath, though the sound was lost in the music. She smiled faintly, not in pride, but in peace. "You once said love was eternal," her eyes seemed to say. "Let them see what eternity looks like." A royal advisor rushed forward, panic flickering in his eyes. "Your Highness, she shouldn't be here." But Hamdan's gaze didn't break. His silence was louder than any command. The crowd began to murmur. "Who is she? Why is the prince staring at her? Is that the woman they—" The next morning, Dubai woke up to chaos. Every news outlet, every gossip page, every whisper on social media carried one name: Amara. Who is she? Why was she at the royal event? Why did Sheikh Hamdan stare at her like that? The palace tried to issue silence. No statements. No clarifications. But silence in Dubai only fuels curiosity, and curiosity soon turns into a storm. The world wanted answers, and the crown prince's heart had just become breaking news. Amara sat quietly in her small villa near Al-Fahidi, watching the frenzy unfold. The city she once loved was now painting her as a scandal, a woman who dared to touch royalty. Her phone wouldn't stop ringing, but she didn't answer. She had expected this storm. She had faced worse before. Betrayal, exile, loss. What was a little noise compared to love that once burned like desert fire? Then came the knock. 3 firm knocks that made her heart freeze. She opened the door to find Sheikh Hamdan himself, standing without guards, without crown, in a simple white kandura. His eyes tired, restless, burning with unspoken things. "Why did you come?" she asked softly, trying to stay strong. "Because they made you look like a stranger," he replied. "And I couldn't let them." For a moment, neither spoke. The wind from the sea blew through the open door, carrying the faint scent of oud and sand. "I told you once," Amara said finally, her voice trembling. "We are not meant for public stories." "And I told you once," he countered gently, "that my heart doesn't follow palace rules." He stepped closer, his tone low, like poetry whispered in secret. "Do you think I can forget the woman who taught me what love means? You think I can erase you because the world told me to?" Amara's eyes filled with tears, not of weakness, but of ache. "Hamdan, they will destroy you for this. They will destroy me again. Do you know what they called me last time?" He looked at her, unflinching. "A mistake?" She nodded. "And yet," he said, "you are the only truth I ever found." The words hung between them, dangerous, divine. Across the city, the palace council was already in emergency session. The advisors were furious. "She must leave Dubai immediately," one declared. "This will ruin his reputation." But the older sheikh, Hamdan's uncle, sat silently for a long moment, staring at the headlines. Finally, he said, "Reputation fades, but courage becomes history." No one dared to speak after that. By nightfall, the world saw something no one expected. Sheikh Hamdan posted a message on his official page. Not long, not defensive. Just one poetic line. "They tried to hide her, but love is light, and light can't be hidden." Within minutes, the internet exploded. Some cheered, others condemned. But the city, for the first time, saw the prince not as a royal, but as a man brave enough to stand by an older woman the world called forbidden. Amara watched his post. The royal stables glowed softly under the moonlight. Horses shifted quietly in their stalls, their breaths warm and steady, a rhythm that matched the pounding of Amara's heart. She had never been here for pleasure, only for work, a curator of royal history. But tonight, this place felt different, sacred, safe. Sheikh Hamdan waited near his favorite stall, dressed in a simple kandura, his hair tousled from the wind. The golden glow from lanterns painted his face with softness, yet the intensity in his eyes held the weight of the entire city. "Hamdan," Amara whispered, unsure where to place her hands, unsure where her voice should stop. He stepped closer, closing the space between them, yet somehow making the world beyond vanish. "Amara," he said, "I didn't call you here to speak of scandal, or rumors, or the palace rules. I called you because it's time we speak of truth. Ours, not theirs." Her chest tightened. "Truth!" she echoed. "We tried once before, but it cost too much." It costs too much not to try, he said, his voice soft but unshakable. I have everything a man could want, power, wealth, prestige, but without you, it's hollow. I can't hide from that anymore. Amara looked at him, a mix of fear and longing clouding her gaze. They will never understand, she said. Dubai loves its princes, not their forbidden loves. Hamdan smiled faintly, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Perhaps. But I've learned that love is never about what the world understands. It's about what we dare to embrace, even if it shakes every palace wall in the city. She swallowed hard, feeling the old ache of separation, the weight of years when they were kept apart. And if the palace forbids it? She asked, her voice trembling. He took her hands in his, steadying both of them. Then I will choose you anyway. I've spent years in silence, and no crown, no council, no protocol will ever make me silent again. You are not just a chapter, Amara. You are the story I cannot live without. A soft breeze carried the scent of desert roses from the gardens. Amara's eyes glistened. Hamdan, you know what this means, she said. This isn't just our secret anymore. The world will watch every step we take. And yet, he said, lifting her hands to his lips, I am willing to face it. I would face the entire world for this one truth, that you and I exist. Together in love that refuses to hide. She hesitated for a heartbeat, then leaned into him. For the first time in years, she felt the warmth of belonging, not as a hidden lover, not as a rumor whispered in palace halls, but as someone chosen, valued, and undeniable. A distant horn sounded, announcing the arrival of the morning guards. But in that moment, neither the prince nor the older woman noticed. Their hearts had found rhythm beyond fear, beyond rules, beyond gossip. You are certain? She asked softly, her forehead resting against his chest. Certain, he replied,